This is Miss Virginia for the Springboro Public Library. I'm glad to see you. I'm kind of sad that I'm online, but this is going to be the story hour for this week because our number of sick people are getting really high and we just need to be safe. So I'm doing story hour here, and my first book is about Thanksgiving, which is coming up soon, and here it is. And it's called Thanks for Thanksgiving by Julie Marks and illustrated by Doris Beretti. First picture shows Grandma setting the table. Here's another picture of the mom, their kids. It's dedicated to my amazing mother Diana, for whom I am very thankful, and to my parents Cecil and Gerald. Thanks for Thanksgiving for turkey and pie. Pictures are very, very colorful. Kind of looks like our house, very crowded. Thank you for fall and gold leaves floating by. And we are thankful for fall and the beautiful leaves. We have nice weather most of the time. Gets cold and rainy towards winter. Thank you for school. I love to feel smart. And some of you don't like school so much, but it's a good thing for you to help you learn. It'll serve you well the rest of your life. Learn how to read and do your numbers. Thank you for music and dancing and art. And there's a picture of the mother reading and a little girl dancing and a little boy drawing and another boy playing a violin. So they're having a lot of fun. If you look close, there's a cat and a dog in the picture too. Thank you for play dates, for swings and for slides. A lot of fun to be on swings and slides and playing outside. I used to love to swing on a swing in my yard and at school. Thank you for hopscotch and piggyback rides. I used to play hopscotch, and I've played it just recently. It's kind of fun to put the numbers down and to jump from one number to another and to see how fast you can go. And always, piggyback rides are always good. That picture had a lot of apples in it. Thanks for sweet puppies and soft furry cats. You can look at the picture with the dogs, the puppies, and the cats, the kittens. Very nice picture. Thank you for dress up, red shoes and a big hat. And I think they're up in the attic upstairs in their house. And they're getting out old clothes and putting them on. It's fun to play dress up. Gives you an idea what people wore back when your mom and dad were little, or when your grandma and grandpa were little. Thanks for umbrellas for rain boots and puddles. You have umbrellas, you don't get soaking wet when you're outside, and rain boots keep you from getting your feet wet, and you can jump in all the puddles you want. Jumping in puddles are fun. There's a boat here, and if you go to the library, we have a paper boat that you can make. It's on our Take and Makes. You look it up front. Thank you for mommy and warm, cozy cuddles. There's the mommy reading to them at night in front of the fire. It looks like they're getting ready for bed. Thank you for daddy and rides on a sled. Daddy takes them outside and helps them build snowmen and rides on sleds, which we're going to be doing pretty soon. It's winter coming and it's supposed to snow some this weekend. Thank you for kisses and tucks into bed. We always need kisses and tucks into bed, don't we? Makes us feel safe. Thanks for the moon and the stars up above. You look at the moon, it's a crescent moon, and all the clouds and the stars you can look out and see at night when it's not real cloudy. Makes you feel safe. There's a lot of birds in that picture too. But most of all, thanks for the family I love. And there's the picture of a big family Thanksgiving, and everybody's around the table. There's lots of food, lots of things going on. It looks like Mom's serving the meal. There's a big turkey. I guess that is the end. Grandma and Grandpa. My next book is A Pocket for Corduroy. And Corduroy is a bear that is always looking for something. And he's mostly looking for a friend and kindness. So there is Corduroy. A Pocket for Corduroy. Story and pictures by Dawn Freeman. Late one summer afternoon, Lisa and her mother took their laundry to the laundromat. Lisa carried along her toy bear, Corduroy. Lisa loved Corduroy and she took him everywhere. The laundromat was a very busy place at this hour. Now, Corduroy, you sit right here and wait for me, Lisa said. I'm going to help with our wash. Lisa likes to help her mother, and she's telling Corduroy to stay there so he's safe. But Corduroy likes to wander. It's a strange thing for a teddy bear. You don't think about teddy bears wandering around. But Corduroy likes to do that. Corduroy waited patiently, and then he suddenly perked up his ears. Lisa's mother was saying, "Be sure to take everything out of your pockets, Lisa dear. You don't want your precious things to get all wet and soapy." So there's Lisa looking through all of her pockets. That's a good thing to take things out of your pocket before they get washed, because some things get ruined when they get wet and soapy. Corduroy was listening with his ears perked up. Pockets, Corduroy said to himself. I don't have a pocket. And he slid off the chair. I must go find something to make a pocket out of, he said, and he began to look around. And he's not listening to his friend Lisa, who's trying to keep him safe, is he? No, he's going around looking for things. First he came to a pile of fancy towels and washcloths, but nothing there was the right size or color. Then he saw a huge stack of colorful clothes in a laundry bag. There ought to be something in there to make a pocket out of, he said. He's going to crawl into a dark bag. Look at that. I don't think I would crawl into a dark bag like that. Without hesitating, he climbed inside the bag, which was filled with wet pieces of laundry. Dampness didn't bother Corduroy in the least. This must be a cave, he said. I've always wanted to live in a dark, cool cave. Later, when Lisa looked for her bear, he was gone. Oh, Mommy, she cried, Corduroy isn't where I left him. I'm sorry, honey, said her mother, but the laundromat will be closing soon and we must be going home. So there's Lisa, and she can't find her teddy bear. She's really sad. He's her best friend. Lisa did not want to leave without Corduroy, but her mother insisted. You can come back tomorrow, she said, and I'm sure you will find him. As they left, a young man wearing an artist beret, that's on top of his head here, was taking wet laundry out of a bag, a very big bag that Corduroy had discovered. Before he knew it, Corduroy was being tossed together with all the sheets and shirts and shorts and slacks. He's getting put into a washing machine. That can't be good. Maybe that's a dryer. I think that's a dryer. Yeah. Inside the dryer. But just as the artist was shutting the glass door, Corduroy tumbled out onto the floor. How in the thunder did that bear get mixed up with my things? The artist wondered. Poor Corduroy was damp all over. The least I can do for him is to give his overalls a good drying, said the man. He unbuttoned Corduroy's shoulder straps and put his overalls in the dryer. So he's going to dry corduroy's overalls for him. Corduroy grew dizzy as he watched the clothes spinning around and around, but the artist became inspired. "This would make a wonderful painting," he said as he took out his sketch pad and he began drawing swirling colors. "I can hardly wait to get back to my studio." Finally, the dryer stopped whirling and the man gathered up the clothes. Then he helped Corduroy put on his warm, dry overalls. All at once, the manager of the laundromat called, "Closing time! Everybody out!" So you can see here where the dryer's spinning around. You can watch the clothes spin around. Have you ever done that when the dryer was spinning and watch the clothes go around? Corduroy was gently placed on top of a washing machine. "I wonder who that bear belongs to," said the artist as he was leaving. "He should have his name someplace. He's too fine a fellow to be lost." As soon as the lights were turned off, Corduroy began his search again. He was surprised to see something white and glowing in the dark. "Maybe it's snow," he said. "I've always wanted to play in the snow." You think it's snow? Snow come in a box? He accidentally tipped over the open-lidded box and suddenly he was covered with soft, slippery soap flakes. Gradually, Corduroy began to slip and slide. "Oh, what fun," he said with a smile. "I've always wanted to ski down a steep mountainside." And there he goes down the soap. Soap is slippery like snow, isn't it? So he's having a good time in there on the soap. He landed paws first in an empty laundry box. "This must be a cage," he said, peeking through the bars. "I never wanted to live inside a cage like a bear in the zoo." But by now, Corduroy felt drowsy, and soon he nodded off to sleep, and there he is going to sleep in the laundry basket. I hope that Lisa can find him in the morning, huh? Next morning, when the manager came to open the laundromat, there was Lisa waiting. "I left something here yesterday," she explained. "May I look around?" "Certainly," said the manager. "My customers are always leaving things." Lisa was searching under chairs and in the back of washing machines, and she heard the manager call her. "Is this what you're looking for, señorita?" And there he found Corduroy sleeping in that laundry cart. "Yes, yes, he's my best friend," shouted Lisa. She reached in and picked Corduroy out of the basket. "So this is where you've been, you little rascal," she said. "It's time I took you home." Lisa thanked the manager and ran down the street, holding Corduroy tightly in her arms. "I thought I told you to wait for me," she said. "Why did you wander away?" "I went looking for a pocket," Corduroy said. "Oh, Corduroy, why didn't you tell me you wanted a pocket?" said Lisa. Lisa takes care of him. She fixed his overalls when she first bought him because the one button was lost. So now she's taking care of him again. That very morning, Lisa sewed a pocket on Corduroy's overalls. "And here is a card I've made with your name on it for you to keep tucked inside," she said. "I always wanted a purple pocket with my name tucked inside," said Corduroy, as he and Lisa nuzzled noses. They're best friends, and Lisa takes care of Corduroy because she loves him. And Corduroy trusts Lisa because she loves him and he loves her. This is my first little house book, and it's The Deer in the Woods. And soon it's going to be deer hunting season, so I thought this might be a really good book to read. My first Little House book, The Deer in the Woods, adapted from the Little House books by Laura Ingalls Wilder and illustrated by Renee Graff. There's some illustrations, what things used to look like. They got logs for the fire and squirrels and animals. Laura Laura lived in a little house with her pa, her ma, her big sister Mary, and her baby sister Carrie, and their good old bulldog Jack. There they are. This was back when the girls and the mothers wore long dresses. You saw how the father dressed? It's back before they had electric lights, because that's a kerosene lamp. It was autumn, and the days were getting short and cold, and fire burned all day in the cook stove to keep the little house warm. Laura and Mary worked on their patchwork quilts in front of the fire. When I was young, I make patchwork quilts for my dolls. So the little girls learned how to sew early, and they could make clothes for their dolls. And you saw their dog sleeping there too in front of the fire. One night, Pa said that after supper that he would go into the big woods to look for deer. There had been no meat in the little house since spring, and it was time for Pa to go hunting again. There they are around the supper table, listening to Pa tell about where he's going. And some of your fathers might be going deer hunting when deer season starts, which will be in a week. After supper, Pa went into the big woods. Laura and Mary went to bed, and they missed the songs that Pa always played for them on his fiddle before they fell asleep. There they are in their bed, under a quilt, trying to go to sleep. The next day, Laura and Mary waited for Pa to tell them about the deer. But Pa was busy all day chopping firewood so the little house would stay warm inside, and there was no deer meat for supper that night. Oh, I wonder why there was no deer meat for supper that night. What do you think? That's how they had to chop wood with an axe. They didn't have chainsaws. After supper, Pa took Laura on his knee while Mary set clothes on her little chair, and Pa said, "Now I'll tell you why we had no meat today." And this is, they have a black cat named Black Susan, and this is their oil lamp, and this is like a powder horn that he kept for his gunpowder for his gun, and this is where he kept his bullets. You can see all that in the picture. Now he's going to tell him a story about the deer. "Last night I went into the woods and I climbed up into the big oak tree to watch for a deer," Pa said. "And soon the big round moon rose and I could see a deer with great horns that stood out from his head." And if you look down here, the deer is there. He's a big one too. He's a big buck. The big horns. And you saw Pa with his rifle. "He looked so strong and free and wild that I couldn't shoot him. I sat and looked at him until he ran off into the big woods." Pa didn't want to hurt the animal, so he just let him go. Then I remembered that Ma and my girls were waiting for me to bring home some meat for supper, so I made up my mind that the next time I saw a deer, I would shoot. So there he is thinking about it. After a long while, a mother deer and her baby fawn stepped into the moonlight. They stood there together looking out into the woods. Their large eyes were shining and soft. Oh, I wonder if he's going to shoot that mama deer. And then the baby wouldn't have a mama to take care of him. What do you think? I just sat there looking at them while they walked among the shadows. Then I climbed down out of the tree and came home. He's got his gun on his back, and he didn't shoot them because he didn't want to hurt the mom and the baby. I guess that's going to mean they had no meat for supper, huh? Laura whispered in his ear, "I'm glad you didn't shoot them." And Mary said, "We can eat bread and butter." Pa hugged both of them together and said, "You are my good girls." They are sitting in front of the fire. You see their cat? It's Black Susan. Soon, Laura and Mary were tucked snugly under their covers. Pa played his fiddle softly, and Ma sat by the fireplace, gently rocking and knitting. Laura lay awake a little while, thinking of how lucky they were to be so safe and cozy in their little house in the big woods. And you can see that Ma's sewing, and then Pa they call it a fiddle. We call it a fiddle sometimes, and sometimes they're called violins, but they're the same instrument. They're just played a little bit different sometimes. That's the end. And here you see a picture of the mother and the baby fawn safe because Pa didn't shoot them. So that's my story time. And we have take and makes at the library when you stop in to get your books. And I hope we won't be have to do videos for very long, but right now we have to do it. I'm sorry, and I miss you. I want to say hi to Izzy and Lena and Lincoln and Emma and the other Izzy, little Izzy, and Jazzy. Thank you for coming to my story times. We'll see you sometime soon. Bye.